Greetings, family. Hope you're doing good. Let's talk. Let's gist. Let's vibe. Today I want to talk about the ego. What is the ego all about? What does the ego make us do? And how do we avoid staying in our ego? First things first, I'm sure everybody has heard the saying, pride comes before a fall. Oh yes, pride. The pride, the ego, is up here. It starts with how you see yourself. It starts with how you view yourself. Because it's the same eye using viewing yourself you use to view others. When you begin to think that you are uncorrectable, when you feel like you know it all, you have all the answers, that's when someone can fall prey or fall in the ego or being in their ego. When you don't do enough shadow work, when you don't focus on yourself, when you don't know yourself enough, when you think you know it all, that's where ego is. And I'm pretty sure as I'm saying these things, one or two persons are popping in your mind, in your head. Yeah. That's how it works. The thing about human experience is that, like I said before, we are not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. So what that means is, at some point, when the physical being feels like it knows it all, it feels like, listen, I understand how everything works. I know how politics work. I know how religion works. I know how the medical system works. I know how spirituality works. I understand this thing. Okay, good, you get it. But does that mean that you've learnt it all? No. But the ego makes you feel like you've learnt it all, like you know it all. Like there's nothing left to fix. There's nothing left to change. There's nothing left to fix. That's what the ego does. From a spiritual standpoint, how do you avoid being your ego? By constantly learning. Anybody who tells you that they know everything about everything, it doesn't know anything. Because the ones who actually do know a lot, they don't even say they know everything. We are all in this school of life. We are all learning. No matter the age, 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, even if you're 1,000 years, you're still learning because you met the planet. You can't remember before now. So how many years have you been on this realm that now make you feel like you know it all? This is why we need to humble ourselves. When you humble yourself, you can't fall prey for the ego. Because the ego is your mind attacking itself. When you don't leave room for improvement, when you feel like you have to be perfect in everything you do, by the way, perfection doesn't exist. It's a figment of our imagination. You might be doing something, for instance, and you think like, okay, I'm not doing this thing well enough. There's a better way to do it. Of course you can improve. But no matter how you improve at it, you can never gain that state of perfection because it doesn't exist. It's all in your mind. Whatever you do, genuinely, is your best. That's what you know how to do. You can improve on that, but it doesn't mean that when you've improved, that's the best. We keep upgrading, we keep growing, we keep learning, we keep evolving. When you feel you know it all, that's the moment you cease to evolve. You refuse to change. And when you refuse to change, you refuse to grow. This is the reason why in the Bible it says, Humble yourself and you shall be exalted. And pride comes before a fall. Because if you feel you know it all, that means you won't do any more shadow work. Instead of you to be meditating, you'll be focused on things out of yourself. And if you're focused on so many things out of yourself, tell me, what time do you have to focus on yourself? What's the number one law? Man, know thyself. They didn't say go know other people. They didn't say go help other people. They say love your neighbor as yourself. You have to love yourself first. You have to love yourself first. So anybody who's claiming to love you and they don't look like they love themselves, question it. Because they can't give you what they don't have. Out of the abundance of your cup, that's when you're supposed to give others. But if you can't give others out of the abundance of your cup because your cup is empty, then it's questionable. What exactly is it you're looking for? Are you doing this because you love people? Are you trying to give people advice honestly because you want to help them? The Bible says again, before you remove the rod in someone else's eye, remove the straw in your own. What do all these figurative terms mean? Focus on self. Learn self. Know self. When you've known self, through learning and evolving, changing and growing, then you can now begin to pour into other people's cups. This is the reason why you need to know who you are. You need to know what you're connected to. You need to know how life became what life became now on this planet right now. Know your history. Do some research. You can't just be sitting down and getting spoon-fed. The same people who put you in this state are not the people that's going to bring you out. They won't help you. You have to help yourself. And helping yourself requires you making conscious effort to say, okay, I don't know. Or okay, I know a little. I want to know more. But when you put yourself in a state of, I know it all, then there's no room for improvement. You can't evolve. You can't change. You can't grow. The ego is what stops people from expressing themselves. The ego is what makes people pick up unnecessary fights and arguments. The ego fights itself. The number one thing the ego will do is make you fight yourself. Like upstairs, you won't be happy. You're always trying to please people or do things to perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. The only thing that exists above love is authenticity. Be your authentic self. And if you're being your authentic self, it doesn't matter what anybody else calls you. If somebody say, I don't like him because he's tall, it's cool. You can't change your height. And even if you can, why would you care about that person's opinion to change your height for? Love your height. So the height you have now, walk with pride. But the pride I'm talking about is not the one that will blind you into gutter. So the one I'm talking about is self-worth. It's not even pride. It's self-worth. And self-worth comes when you do shadow work. When you know who you are, when you know where you're going, when you know what's helping you, when you recognize your ancestors, when you honor them, when you pour libation, when you start taking your life serious. When you start knowing yourself, you know what not to connect to. You know what not to partake in. You know what not to be swayed by. You get confidence from authenticity, from being genuine. Don't walk like this. Don't dress like this. From birth, they've been controlling us. And now you're surprised why we have so many adults acting like kids. They never enjoyed their childhood. They were controlled throughout the whole childhood. Go to school. Make sure you pass. Come back. Get good results. Okay. Go to church. Make sure you pray. Give offering. Like, why so much instruction? If it was authentic. Listen. Anybody who is setting up a structure for you to come to without teaching you how to set up yourself on your own by yourself, it's trying to trick you. It's trying to trick you. You need to wake up. Africans need to wake up. Africans need to know that, see, The same people who got us oppressed, they're not going to give you liberation. You're going to have to look for the liberation yourself. The answers are not in the places you think they are. God don't reside in any place anybody builds and says it's here. Because he says he's here, that means he's here. No. It's in you. It's in me. It's in all of us. We are the Christ. When you activate, your whole temple becomes holy. You have to keep it holy. And if you want to keep it holy, you stay from things like pride. Because they make you feel like you know it all. What do you know? What do you think you know? That's why you have to connect with your ancestors. That's why you have to connect with your Akashic records. That's why you have to know things. You have to get downloads. And you can't do these things by eating poison. You can't do these things by having a lifestyle that doesn't support your own progress. Because what you don't understand is that the alcohol was introduced in the community by some certain group of people who want to keep us on a certain vibratory level. Do you want to see them win? Aren't you tired of suffering? Isn't it time for you to break this generational curse already? Even if not everybody can become wealthy, I get it, but at least have sense. Sense is free. But I guarantee you the sense is not in the places they told you it is. It's not in the schools. That's why you see graduates today still suffering, because they weren't trained. They were just taught to obey. And when you keep obeying without questioning, that's how things take spoil. That's how things go bad. And when you look at the world today, everybody's like, how did things get so bad? People were sleeping. Love yourself enough to tell yourself the truth. Love yourself enough to know that there are things you don't know. And be willing to learn them. Not from anybody out of you. Of course, you can do some research. Nothing wrong with that. That's why you have to use your discernment. But make sure you go within. Because all the answers are there. All the answers. Our ancestors had all the answers. They were robbed. And today now, it's like if a child that had a rich father and the father died, and nobody told this child about the inheritance he had. Only for the child to now figure out, oh, I actually have this inheritance and nobody told me. They won't tell you. Because they're probably planning on selling it behind your back. Learn that not everybody out of you love you enough to tell you the truth. If the ways we were following in society was working, it would have been working. It's not. Only a fool will do something that is not working and expect it to work. So what are we doing wrong? And how do we get it right? How do we know what we need to learn? How do we know what we already know is wrong? Practical has already shown it. Our reality has shown that what we're doing is wrong. So let's follow another way. Let's fix it another way. How do we do that? The one place we haven't gone is within. Is within. Is questioning our own souls. Where did we actually come from? What's actually going on? What actually happened? Your oppressor is not going to teach you the truth to free you. You're the one that's going to have to open your mind and think beyond all this root chakra behavior. Understand that we have been invaded. Your birthright is being stolen from you. And you're in your ego thinking you know it all. What do you think you know? If you knew it all, would you be suffering like this? If you knew it all, will you? Listen, I know I don't know it all, but I'm learning, I'm growing. Let's grow together. Let's learn to love ourselves again. I see people in society, they don't love themselves. Everybody's doing shit for the gram now. Everybody's trying to impress someone. I'm posting this picture because it's fine. I know they'll like it. Bro, post that picture because you love how you look, not because of somebody else's opinion of you. Social media have ruined the minds of our youths. But here's the thing. Being in the ego is a dangerous place. Because then the mind attacks itself. And if what I'm saying is right, like I know is right, if we are powerful beings, as we are, don't you know how powerful your mind is? Imagine turning all that power against yourself. Imagine putting pressure on yourself that our FIS come, you are traumatizing your soul. These people put these things here to make you not go within. Anybody giving you anything without you asking, question it. Question it, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying what I'm telling you should follow it by force. I'm saying just question it. Start questioning things. Okay, why is that like that? Why is this like this? Why do you want to give him that? Why do you, what? Do you love me so much? What kind of food do we eat? Where does it come from? Who makes it? Why did they make it specifically for us? Do they love us so much? Why do we import everything? Why? Why? So many whys. And somebody is in their ego thinking they know it all. Please. Let us be in humility so we can see each other's flaws and help each other work together. In remembering back who we are as a people. Because from what they've told us we are, is full of lies. Your ancestors were not slaves. They were royalty. They show you pictures of people in the bush covering with leaves. But it was never us. We knew, in short, we know who were in the caves. We know who were created in the lab. We know who was created in the Garden of Eden. We know it wasn't us. You have to wake up. If you don't know, ask the right questions and know. Learn. Or you will learn. And you will learn the hard way. Exactly. That word just came to mind. Bruh. It's time. Enough of all this. We are way more intelligent than they pitch us out to be. We are way smarter. We are way cooler. We are products of nature. We are stronger. We are wiser. Act like it. Begin to embody that energy. Don't do low vibrational things that will put you in a state of fear or guilt. Align your chakra system to the point where, see, even you know now that, listen, my ancestors are with me. Because that's the only place you can ever get that conviction. That truth that will never deceive you. They taught us to demonize our ancestors, but to glorify their own. That's a topic for another day. Do you know Jesus isn't what you think it is? Another day. So I'll see you guys later. Huh? Love you. Have a nice one.